Hello, dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine.
Hello, dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine.
Today, in this class, that is in this live streaming, we are going to learn one of the most important lesson of your class 7 science, that is respiration in organisms. Right? Okay, let us go ahead. Afterwards, those who are able to join, let them join. Let us continue our lessons. Here, coming to respiration, first we need to learn what is respiration, right? Before coming to the definition of respiration, we need to understand first why we need to study this respiration. See, coming to here, one of the story they have mentioned in the textbook. What is that? Bojo, when he went to the bus stand to pick up their grandparents, he was running all the way, right? He was breathing very much fast, and there means his parents, they were able to recognize it. Means he came by running, but immediately one question was stuck to his mind: why am I breathing so fast even if I what run for so long? So this was his doubt there. Then is what begins there: respiration, breathing, what this process and all we are going to define now. Okay, very much simple. I'm not going to take much time. In detail we are going to cover in short. Okay, let us take first one here. Respiration. What is respiration? We eat food to get energy, right? You know that already. See, whatever the food we eat, that food will be stored in our body muscles in the form of glucose, right? This glucose, it breaks down to release energy whenever we do some activities. Even if we are not doing any activities, then also it breaks down. Okay, at least to whatever the body processes, such as transportation inside, digestion. For that also energy is required, right? For that at least energy has to be supplied. So what happens? It just goes on breaking down that glucose. This process of breakdown of glucose in the cells to release energy is called what? Respiration, right? It is very much simple. Okay, sure. Hi to all those who have joined. Sure. Okay, then now we are calling this as respiration, right? It's very much simple. Just you can say whatever the food we eat that is stored in our body, okay, in the form of glucose. That glucose, if it breaks down in the form of in the cells to release energy, that breakdown of food in the cells to release energy is called respiration, right? This respiration takes place in two types. We can say that, does it need oxygen or without oxygen? See, respiration takes place in both the ways. Even if there is oxygen, respiration takes place. Even if there is no oxygen, then also respiration takes place. That is why we are going to learn two types of respiration, right? See, one type of respiration we call it what? Aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means what? In presence of oxygen. See, we all are breathing, right? Without oxygen, we cannot survive even for a minute, right? So that is how we are breathing. We need oxygen. Okay, without oxygen we cannot breathe. So when we are taking in oxygen, in presence of oxygen, our energy is being released in our. So this type of respiration we call it as what? Aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means in presence of oxygen it takes place, right? Next, one more type is there of anaerobic respiration. This is aerobic respiration, right? One anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic means in absence of oxygen. Okay, in absence of oxygen, if the food or glucose breaks down, that is called anaerobic respiration, right? In aerobic respiration, what is going to release? That if I show here, that is glucose, right? In presence of oxygen. Okay, in presence, let us write here, in presence of oxygen. Okay, what it releases, it releases carbon dioxide, water, and energy, right? These products are coming: carbon dioxide, water, and energy. All these are coming, right? So it is not visible to you what I'm writing. Just you just go on listening to me so that it will be very much clear to you. See, in presence of oxygen, since it is vertical life, it cannot be covered whole board. Okay, if it is horizontal, it would be better, but it will not be much clear. That is why I taken horizontal, vertical one. So I'm saying, just listen. What is that? When oxygen combines with that glucose in the cells, it breaks down glucose to release what? Carbon dioxide. We are breathing out carbon dioxide, right? And water is also produced along with release of energy. Okay. In presence of oxygen, if it takes place, we call this as aerobic respiration, right? If the same respiration that can take place in absence of oxygen also, how is that possible? Say for example, if you take yeast, okay, yeast cells, they breathe in absence of what? Oxygen. They do not need any oxygen. For example, fermentation process, they prepare wine and all, right? Grapes means, grapes they will convert into alcohol. How is that possible? Just because of yeast, it does not require any type of oxygen, still it breathes. If it breathes, what it releases then? Here, in presence of oxygen, what we are breathing, we are releasing what? Carbon dioxide, water, and energy, right? But if it is yeast cell, there in absence of oxygen, it releases carbon dioxide, alcohol, and energy. Similarity is very much simple. Here only, in absence of oxygen, alcohol is released. In presence of oxygen, water is released. Remember, okay, these are just two differences. Okay, in presence of oxygen, water. In absence of oxygen, what is that? Alcohol. Only this is the difference. But here also carbon dioxide, there also carbon dioxide, energy here also, there also. This much you remember. This is called what? Anaerobic respiration, we can say for this, right? Okay, next coming to here, what is breathing? We need to understand breathing first. Breathing means we take in air, right? Use oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, right? This process of taking in air, using oxygen, and giving out carbon dioxide, this process is called what? Breathing. Okay. And when we take in air, that is called inhalation. Okay, when we take in air, that is called inhalation. When we give out air, that is called exhalation, right? One inhalation, one exhalation together make one breath. Remember, okay, one breath. One breath means it is one inhalation, one exhalation, right? This is called one breath. Next, coming to here, what is breathing rate also we need to understand. Breathing rate, if you want to know, it is very much simple. In 1 minute, how many times we breathe, that is called what? Breathing rate. Say for example, if I ask few students, they'll be saying that in 1 minute my breathing rate is 72 times. Means they are getting confused with what heartbeat rate and breathing rate. Heartbeat rate is different and breathing rate is different. Heart, it beats 72 times per minute, that is what? Heartbeat rate. But breathing rate, we cannot breathe. Just to check once, you breathe and see, is it possible for you to reach 72 times to breathe? It's not possible at all, right? So maximum it will be 15 to 18 times, okay, per minute. In case if you are doing any type of rigorous activities, heavy works, in that case it may go up to what? 25 times it may reach. Remember, so that is called what? Breathing rate, we can say. Okay, what is breathing over, what is breathing rate over, right? Next, coming to what? Here, breathing in human beings. Okay, in human beings, how do we breathe then? It's very much simple. Just you go for this one. Coming to this one, you have to understand respiratory system of human beings first. Our respiratory system begins from what? Our nostrils. Nostrils means what? It is openings of the nose. Okay, that is called nostrils. Inside a nasal cavity, right? Later it enters windpipe, right? Windpipes, what? They divide into and they enter the lungs. Okay, they carry the air to lungs. In the lungs only oxygen will be absorbed and carbon dioxide will be released. And there are two lungs in human body. They are located in the chest cavity, right? That in the chest cavity, lungs are protected by rib cage on either side. Fully it is protected by rib cage. They are so spongy there, smooth there, lungs, right? So they are protected by that rib cage. Coming to this rib cage, now when we take in air, what happens? And when we exhale and when we inhale, what happens, that we need to understand. And coming to here, respiratory system, in the nasal cavity there are hair. Here they what? trap the what dust particles, smoke, it may be sometimes pollen, it may be everything will be entering our body, that will be trapped. Okay, it will not enter our lungs, it will stop. Next, coming to here, what this is the function of hair in the nose. Okay, in the inner lining of the nasal cavity will be there. Sometimes we sneeze. What is the reason for that? It is very much simple. It is our mechanism of our body system there, very much defensive system. It is, if any foreign particle enters, even by escaping that nasal hair, that time it irritates inner lining of what nasal cavity. Then immediately signal will be sent to our brain that something has entered newly. Immediately brain takes action. It sends back signals to the lungs. They will contract and expand at a time. They release the air at a time, so that what, when air is expelled at a time, all that particle, foreign particle which is entered, it is coming out. This is how that sneezing is very much protective it is. Okay, uh, and while sneezing we have to take care that whatever the foreign particles, they should not enter somebody's what breathe what lungs. So that is why we need to hold kerchief before over sneezing. This is important one. Next, coming to here, when we are breathing in, what happens? When we are breathing out, what happens? That is also very much important, right? Very much simple. Just you hold your ribs on either side like this by tightly with your hands and check this activity. Very much simple. If you hold your ribs, means you should touch your ribs on either side. Okay, take in air. What happens? You see, your ribs will move outward and upward, right? See, outward and upward. And floor of the chest cavity, it is made up of one what muscular sheet, large muscular sheet is there, that is called what, diaphragm. Here it is there, you see, diaphragm. These are lungs. Here these are what, ribs. Okay, this is trachea, right, or windpipe we can say here. So here this diaphragm, what happens when we take in air, ribs move outward and upward. That time diaphragm moves downward because it has to give more space for entry of air. That time air enters the lungs. In the lungs, oxygen is absorbed and carbon dioxide is released. This is how it will be taking place. Okay, now after this what happens? um, this is what, when we inhale. When we exhale, what happens? When we exhale, just again you can check the same activity by holding your ribs. When we expel out, means when we exhale out all the carbon dioxide, that time ribs, they move downward and inward, downward and inward, and this moves to its original position. It had come earlier down, now it is moving up because it is what, putting out all the air which is present inside. So that is why we can check this by placing our palm on this one, abdomen. Our abdomen movement, it shows that air, entry of air and exit of air within our body. Okay, this can be done. Next, this is all about this one, what, human respiratory system, right? And here this model we can prepare here. To prepare how model is very much simple. Here if you take one bottle, you can take here. Okay, these bottles, what you have to do is cut the bottom. Okay, you remove this separate, and here you have to take one y-shaped tube like this. Okay, for this you need to tie two balloons here, here and here. And here this cap you remove and insert by making one hole. You insert into this, right? uh, if it is inserted once, that much only sufficient, that much hole you have to make. Next, you have removed here, you have to insert this y-shaped tube into this, right, bottle. Here balloons are tied, right? Now you put the cap back. Okay, what, this cap has to be airtight. It has to be airtight. Only this pipe has to come out, and this bottom of this bottle has to be covered with rubber balloon, tightly airtight you have to make. And you pull this. This behaves like what, diaphragm of our body. When you pull this down, what air will be entered through this. Because of that, these balloons, they will get inflated, means they will be blown. Okay, this is what, how we can do that. Our model for showing the respiratory system of human beings, how it functions, that we can show, right? This is the activity. Next, coming to here, whether are we breathing carbon dioxide or oxygen? To check this, you can go for one activity. Very much simple it is. It is already done. Video, it is done. You can go for that. Just in short, I have uploaded. There, what has happened is lime water is taken in one flask. when what carbon dioxide, like this flask, it is taken with the help of pipe. I have blown just air for some time. So because of that, here lime water, when I blew the air, it is mixing with carbon dioxide. Lime water, when it mixes with only carbon dioxide, then it turns milky white color. In the beginning it was transparent when I had taken that one. When I blew the air for some time afterwards, it turned to what? Milky white color. This is just because of what reaction between carbon dioxide and lime water. This activity we have already done. You can go for that and check it once. It's very much simple one. So this is all about what we are breathing out. And in atmospheric oxygen, you see atmospheric air, what is present? Oxygen. How much it is percentage? 21%, right? See, when we are inhaling that, how much? Around 16.4% it is coming out. Remaining it is absorbed. Okay. So here carbon dioxide, how much it is? 0.04% in the atmosphere. When we inhale and exhale, after exhaling 0.04% changes to 0. No, 4.4% it changes, means that much carbon dioxide we are expelling it out. Okay, this is how it is taking place. Next, breathing in human beings, model over mechanism. Next, breathing in other animals, very much simple here. Now we are coming to know about breathing in other animals. Okay, it is also very much simple here. Coming to first, we need to take one cockroach, insects. Okay, insects, for example, if you take cockroach, on either side of its body, it has small openings. They are called what? Spiracles. Okay, spiracles, they are called small openings or spiracles. They are okay. These spiracles, they are connected to air tubes. These air tubes, they are going throughout the body and they are connected to different tissues and cells of its body. Okay, this air which enters the spiracles on either side, means openings, what it enters that air tube. That air tube is called what? Trachea in insects. Remember, with the help of that trachea, it is going to different tissues means group of cells. In the cells it is absorbed. Same way, carbon dioxide which is released, it is entering the trachea and again it is coming back to what? Spiracles, and it is going out. Okay, this is how through trachea what it takes place, breathing or respiration takes place in case of insects. Okay, remember, this is over. Next, coming to here, breathing in insects over. Next, breathing in earthworm. Okay, earthworm, coming to earthworm, it breathes through what is the skin is moist and slimy, right? Through, with the help of their skin, it will be breathing. What? Earthworms. They may ask you one reason: during rainy season they come out. Why? Because they will be inside the soil. Inside the soil, air particles will be there. Within that air particle, soil particles will be there. Within that soil particles, what? In the gap, air will be trapped. With the help of that air, they will be absorbing oxygen, right? If during rainy season, if more water enters, then there is no gap between the soil particles. As a result, what? There is no supply of oxygen. Because of that, all the earthworms, they come out during rainy season. Remember, okay, this is one important point. Reason it is, you must know. Next, other than that, okay, uh, here frog. Coming to frog, frog breathes through what? Lungs also and skin also. Both it uses. Okay, and its what skin is? It is slippery and moist. Okay, and it also has just like lungs what we human beings have, like that. Not only frog, even if you take birds, goat, cow, dog, cat, okay, lizard, snake. These are also what? Having lungs inside their body. With the help of lungs they are breathing. Remember, okay, here frog, it breathes through lungs also and skin also. That is called amphibian, because it lives in water also, on the land also. That is why it's called amphibian. It can breathe both what ways. This is one. Next, coming to frog over fish. Coming to fish, fish has special structure called what? Gills. Here, if it is visible to you, no, it is it is visible here, right? Here, these are called special structures called gills in fish. With the help of gills, it breathes. Remember, what? Fish. Okay, these structures, they are helping for breathing. Remember, these gills are supplied with blood vessels. Okay, and how do they breathe? They take in air. Oh, sorry, they take in water. Okay, when they take in water, in the water there is dissolved oxygen, right? This dissolved oxygen, it is absorbed in the gills, because here blood vessels are supplied with this one gills. In the blood vessels, the oxygen dissolved in the water, it is absorbed here. What water it is taking inside, it is what it puts out through gills. Okay, it springs forth, we say for that. With full pressure, it puts it out through gills. When it comes out, that water, dissolved oxygen present in that water, it is absorbed by the gills. This is how it is taking place. What a respiration in fish. Okay, this is one more point. Next, coming to what fish, coming to plants here. How do they breathe? Here, plants also they have special structures. For example, if you take leaf, leaf has one small opening called stomata, right? With the help of that stomata, exchange of gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen, both will be taking place. Okay, with the help of stomata. Along with that, other than that also, if you take plants roots, in the roots small hair like structure will be there, that is called root hair. Here I shown. Okay, in the soil there is gap between the soil particles. In that gap, air is trapped. With the help of this air, it is absorbing oxygen. Okay, roots are also what they too are breathing, remember. Okay, these roots, they are breathing. One example you can say, if you take any plant, if you put more water, if you put more water to any plant, it dies after few days. Because what, it has to breathe, it cannot get sufficient oxygen. If you make you see one plant you take which is potted one. Okay, in the pot, if you have kept that one, you put more water here, it cannot grow well. It just goes on dying there. Because of what? Because it cannot breathe through the roots. If water is more there, it will not allow the air to be trapped in the soil particles. As a result, it does not get any more oxygen, so it cannot survive for more days. Remember, so more water should not be given to the plants. It has to be, soil has to be loose. Okay, in that gap only what air is there, with the help of that it will be breathing. Remember. So this is all about this one. Okay, about plants also over. Everything it is covered. Okay, so, and one more point, muscle cramps. I had to tell you one more point, very much important. See, during any heavy work or activity, we come across what muscle catch we say there is a pain in the muscles appears immediately. Because of what? When we do any heavy work, there is high demand for energy. Energy has to be released. So what happens? Energy is released, of course. Okay, how? That glucose, it breaks down to release energy, but since it is not getting sufficient oxygen, in absence means in lack of oxygen, it is having oxygen but not sufficient one. That is called lack of oxygen. In lack of oxygen, when it breaks down, it releases one more product called what? Lactic acid. Okay, this lactic acid, when it is accumulated in the muscles in that particular area, what happens? It stops blood circulation. When blood circulation is stopped, what happens? We start feeling pain. Very much simple. Then how to what treat this one? Very simple it is. What to do? A particular part where we are having muscle cramps, on that part you put little oil and do little massage. Okay, after doing little oil massage, you put hot water. What happens? From these activities, blood circulation, it improves in that particular part. Okay, when it improves blood circulation, more oxygen is supplied. When more oxygen is supplied, what happens? That oxygen reacts with lactic acid to convert that into water and carbon dioxide. Okay, when that lactic acid is changed into carbon dioxide and water, we feel relief from the pain. This is how muscle cramps will be treated. Okay, so this is very much simple. You have to remember this. This is most important one. It may come at any reasons and all, it may be asked. So these are points what we have discussed so far. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me so that I can clarify and end the video. Okay, if there is any doubt for anybody. Okay, those who have attended, for them have done. Okay, okay, this is all about respiration. Just if you go through that exercise questions also, based on this only, what questions will be asked? Nothing can be asked other than this, right? So just you understand the concept, let the question be however you can answer. But without understanding the story, if you go for question answers, it will be very much difficult. Do not learn the lessons just with the help of question answers. Okay, it is not correct. That is wrong method. Most of the times we go for what? Exercise questions. Once if they are solved, finished, I am ready with the lesson. That is wrong. How you are learning the story? Just somebody saying you question answers, that is how you are learning the story. That becomes very much difficult for you in science. So what you have to do, just let us listen to the story with a lot of interest. Once if you understand the story, let them ask whatever you can imagine and say, right, answers. So that is why it happens. So that is why don't go for that only question answers. As much as possible, you learn through what topics, understand the concepts properly, so that it becomes very much clear to you, very much simple. For 7 they have not given any such big science at all. Just like introduction they have given, right? The same topics you are going to learn in higher classes, for example 10th and all. Okay, some of the topics what I am doing for you, same they are appearing in class 10th also there. And further, what further part, it will be introduced there. Okay, in the introduction it will be there. Okay, so this is all about just respiration in organisms. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Still, I have given time to you. Uh, just a quick revision. We learned what is respiration. Just a quick revision. I'll go and end the video. Right? Respiration is nothing but it is a process in which what glucose or food breaks down in cells to release energy. This process is called respiration. Okay, types of respiration. There are two types of respiration. One is what? Aerobic respiration. Another is anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means in presence of oxygen it takes place, and anaerobic respiration in absence of oxygen it takes place. These differences can also be asked. Okay, you should have to write that one side this, one side this. Okay, what is happening there? In aerobic respiration, in presence of oxygen, when it is releasing what? Carbon dioxide, water, and energy. And energy released is very much high also here. And coming to anaerobic respiration, what happens? In anaerobic respiration, when glucose breaks down, it releases carbon dioxide, what alcohol, energy. In anaerobic respiration, in presence of yeast it takes place, remember. Okay, yeast or bacteria even in mouth, in absence of oxygen, when glucose breaks down. For example, whatever the food we eat there, we get tooth decay. How it occurs? In absence of oxygen, these break down that food there. What bacteria present in the mouth? When they break down, what acid will be released? Okay, that acid when it settles on the surface of the teeth, it decays the teeth. That is a process how we are getting what tooth decay. That is why before sleeping, if we wash our teeth, it will be very much healthy. We do not get any type of toothache or cavities, right? So that is one of the most important thing. So this all we discussed. What is breathing? We understood. What is breathing rate? We understood. Okay, and in that breathing rate over breathing mechanism. Okay, in human beings we understood. Okay, so for what we have discussed, you just go through the video. It becomes too much long otherwise. So we'll end the video. Okay, see you again in the next video. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Based on science it may be, or maths it may be, whichever the topics you say. Based on that we will make particular one video and upload. Otherwise live class will come, this will be uploaded back again, same video. Okay, what I'm doing here live, this comes as video afterwards, you can watch it. Okay, okay, then see you in the next class. Okay, now I'm getting late, I have other classes. Okay, then we'll end the video. See you in the next video.